Hey guys, April is National Poetry Month, so today we're going to talk a little bit about poetry and some of the elements we might find in poems. Now these are some activities that you could do at home. You can find these poems online or you could come up with your own poems. These are just two examples that I will have for you where we can talk about different elements of poetry in them. So for our first poem we have Joey by Brad Lathhauser, and in this poem we're going to talk about analogies. You can describe an analogy to your child as something where we compare two things together. So if I am saying the sun is like a bright yellow ball, I am making an analogy between the sun and a yellow ball. Okay, so I'll read the poem here, and you could either listen to this poem with your child or find another poem that has analogies in it, and you could talk about those with your child. Okay. Joey by Brad Lathhauser. A baby kangaroo is called a Joey. His early life's a little vertigo-y, since Mama's always bouncing like a ball. She doesn't stop to wonder what effect the bouncing's having on his brain. In fact, she doesn't stop at all. Surely the kid'll learn to cope. She's like a kid herself, forever jumping rope. There are two analogies in this poem. I'll read the lines for you, and then I'll tell you what the analogy is. Okay. Since Mama's always bouncing like a ball. We have that word like in here. That gives us a little clue. There is an analogy. It is comparing the mama kangaroo to a ball. Here's another line. She's like a kid herself, forever jumping rope. There's that word like again, giving us a clue. She, the mama kangaroo, is like a kid herself, forever jumping rope. Those are two analogies as examples in this poem. Now we'll move on to our next poem. So for this poem, we're going to be talking about alliteration. Alliteration is an element in poetry where there are several words that begin with the same sound. So take a listen in this poem, and then we'll talk about some of those words that show us alliteration, that have the same beginning sound. This is Rabbit by Mary Ann Hoberman. A rabbit bit a little bit, an itty-bitty little bit of beet. Then bit by bit he bit, because he liked the taste of it. But when he bit a wee bit more, it was more bitter than before. This beet is bitter, Rabbit cried. I feel a bit unwell inside. But when he bit another bite, that bit of beet seemed quite all right. Besides, when all is said and done, better bitter beet than none. Okay, so this poem has several instances of alliteration in it. There's bit, beat, because, bitter. Those are all words that have the same beginning sound. There are many poems out there that have alliteration in it, and you can talk about that with your child. Or you can find this poem, Rabbit by Mary Ann Hoberman. And you can even help your child find those sounds. Okay, there's many instances of alliteration in this poem. Can you identify them? What words do you hear that have the same beginning sound? Then you can go through and name the words. Or you could also ask your child, what sound do you hear repeating? B is the case in this poem. Okay, those are just two quick examples of elements within poetry that you could talk about with your child. Enjoy!